season produced a guest and gift.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, bro. We in the building again. It's Tuesday. It's time for another Ronin radio, bro. Savage mode is on. Savage mode is on today. You know what I mean? We woke up and I was bored as it was last week. So we got to talk about this, bro, because we cannot fucking continue. But welcome. If it's your first time tuning into the Ronin Radio, I'm your host, Keela. We are live right now on X. We're also live on YouTube. If you want to go and check it out there, you can subscribe to the channel. We'd fucking appreciate that. We'd like that a lot. But yeah, I got my boys with me today, Mr. Stark and Thebon1437. I think the passive mode is going to be turned off today, but I'll let them speak for themselves. All right, let's bring them onto the stage. But today, of course, we're going to cover everything that's been happening over the last week, if anything has happened, by the way, because it's kind of fucking dead out here. But there are things to update you guys on, and of course, some real conversations to have. It was nice. We had Psych out with us last week, but this week, none other than just me mates. Look at them. Fucking beautiful. We love it. How we doing, lads?
Yeah, good. Happy to see you guys, let's say.
Yes.
I had a weekend away in Paris, and I'm back now.
Oh yeah, you were missing, bro. I forgot you. You know what I mean? Last week was very vacant from yourself, but no, glad to have you back. I'm feeling the energies from this man in the top right corner of our screen right now. Yo, are you cooking today? Like, what is your plans for today's show, bro?
I mean, wherever you want to take him, man. I mean, I'm out here. Next week I'll be going back home.
Oh yes,
yeah, and I'm gonna be probably permanently there. And you know, I'm just having a lot of realizations, right? Like, for example, over the past couple, maybe I guess almost 2 years now. I would say a year and a half, right? Like, I've been out here, and like, I let things be the way that they are because I thought that there's something that I don't know, right? Like, maybe there's something that I can learn, and there's something that like we can, there's a vision that I'm not seeing, right?
Yeah.
And like now a year and a half has passed, and I'm like, you know, it's all sinking in that like, okay, this is just not the way, right? Like, it's not the way, right? Like, let's be real here. If you're from like a Western country, being in this space, being in this gaming environment, like, you would have done better having just filled fries for the past 3 years at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, whoa. So you're in an industry, and I'm saying that as like the guy who won more than anybody else, right? Like, over this course period of time, and it's like, it shouldn't be that way, especially in an emerging industry where a lot of people think about like you're early, you know, that's how it's showed as, and like, you know, it's a land of opportunity and whatever. There is opportunity, I won't deny that, but the opportunity isn't for everybody. It's for very specific subset of individuals where that time to reward ratio is worth it for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who comes from the West, clearly, obviously, it's not for me. I would say, like, before a year and a half ago, it was like on the borderline of being worth it, but over the past year and a half, I feel like we've just went towards a different direction, and I can't really say it's worth it for anyone, actually, especially for the games who are developing right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you know, that presents a lot of premise for conversation. I think at this point, we may as well go get updated with where the market's at, right? Because obviously, you know, we're affected greatly by how the market is moving. I think that comes into like some of the questions I might ask you along those lines, Stephen, where like, you know, is it really a decision to change the approach, or is it like necessary, right? The survival mode kicks in. Certain things have to happen in order to survive, and whether it was the right way to approach things or beneficial for the participants is out of the question. It's just the fact that we need to survive, right? But talking about surviving, are we surviving right now with over 90,000 Bitcoin? Is the question. We've stuck up here for a little longer than I thought we would have, but the sentiment really at least from my perspective and things that I was seeing last week, is that we're kind of on a turning around period. The fear of like the lack of liquidity in global markets kind of passed essentially over the last month. Like March was rough, right? So this is where we're at right now. What are your takes on it? What are you looking at for this week? I know it's Tuesday, still early. So
I think it's really unhealthy if we don't have a pullback here. I feel like a lot of people got sidelined. They probably weren't expecting this to be this fast, like recovery, especially from like that 84K. We could see like there's a lot of consolidation around the 84K, but we flew to like 90, 95K super fast, right? And we're kind of staying up here. I think a lot of people are sidelined. I would love to, like, the most bullish case scenario is actually we go back down and we pick up all the people we left behind. So we have more buyers, right, coming in, and then we like really take off hard, right?
Yeah.
But if we just go up only from here, I think the drop back down is gonna be very brutal. And
It's
that's
gonna
just
be
how
quick.
markets work. Yeah, that's how just markets work, man. Like you need to have healthy pullbacks. Like I would love to see a pullback to like at least 88. Maybe not 85 again, but maybe at least like 88, 89 range, and then from there we can somewhere in that area we can pick up the traders and the people that we left behind, and then we can all go up together, maybe to like the new all-time highs. But yeah, like there is liquidity flowing back into the markets right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It does look like we're on a better track at this. Like Bitcoin represents the industry a lot of the time, and we know about it, so we don't have to talk about this too much. But things do look a little bit better. What does that mean though for the rest of the fucking crypto industry? Of course, ETH, not something that is not glamorous to fucking look at. I'll be honest, but almost somewhat of a similar kind of reaction that's happened. Again, no pullbacks here, probably a healthy pullback here as well. But then we trickle it all the way down to where we are. Shout out to all of you lot out here, Ronin Network, 55 center Roonies, bro. What do we look like here? Is this the slow curve that we were talking about, like price sticking around, no longer falling knives?
Yeah, we've got a floor. It's breaking out of the downtrend a little bit here. The only thing is like it hasn't had the momentum that all these other coins have had over the last weeks, but that's okay. I think if we do end up having this healthy pullback and sellers are completely exhausted on Ron, we could definitely see this like making a decent recovery. I won't say like we're going back to all-time highs right away, but I'm talking like maybe a 2x or whatever from like where that recovery comes from. It's possible, it's in the cards, right? Not financial advice or anything like that. I think for me at least in this market, I'm just looking for that pullback because we're just due for one. We've been like up only or green candles only for like, I don't know, 13 or 14 days or something now, which is absurd. Like I'm talking about Bitcoin and the other market.
But it is still represented in this format here. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's always a fire sale for me, just on my perspective, around these prices, having been in the industry and in the market kind of prior to these prices as well. Like, the round trip's not so fun, but for me, I definitely think that fundamentally there's, I'm not going to use that word again. We're not going to do that because Thursday was Thursday, but like just for me, it's still opportunistic as of right now. I don't think we've been weighed correctly. But talking about weighing, I'm actually going to uncover some of the metrics that are in the present day within Ronin. Like in terms of our games and also like daily active addresses. I know daily active addresses is not an amazing stat to pull from because of the manipulation that can happen there. But I actually want to get like a what do they call it when they get like they check your vitals or whatever. I don't know. Like let's get a consensus of some sorts of how are things going right in Ronin. We have the Ronin Blitz rewards going out right now. That's been here for a few weeks and I haven't seen much buzz around it So like DeFi on Ronin, I don't really think has like really kicked off yet. That's a conversation we can go into after this, but these are things that are just have happened over the last few weeks. You also had Forgotten Runiverse, who now have their dungeon run event that is going to be starting soon. I don't know if this is, but basically, you know what? Let's be real. The thing with Forgotten Runiverse for me is amazing fucking IP, amazing community, somewhat of a blue chip NFT approach in terms of like the values of those NFTs and then what they mean within that community. Maybe not so much outside of that. And then the game itself, amazing news. Like it's on multiple consoles. They're getting ready for that, right? Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, all those things. And there is going to be a release this year on Steam and Epic Games as well. So this won't just be a browser-based game, which I think a lot of people will enjoy. But the game itself is in beta. It's still like a playtest, right? It's like the open playtest. But that replayability didn't exist. So now we have this Runiverse, an event that's going on where dungeon runs, right, will be activated. I don't know if there's going to be different dungeon runs. Do you have to go and find them? I would like an Easter egg element around that if I was in charge of putting these events on. The question from me to you guys is, do you give a shit? Does anybody give a shit? Do we give a shit? What's the feelings? Is this important?
I mean, maybe let's start go first, yeah.
The thing is, I feel like just personally, since I didn't push till the end of the when everyone was rushing to max out their characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Without diving back into it completely, I feel like I would have to catch back up because I didn't finish the quest because the quests were annoying. So I'm basically way far back compared to others. So I would feel very differently if I had the. Just if things had gone differently and I'd finished up my character, then I could just hop on and contact my friends. So I don't know if I think if I'm the best to speak about it because I'm
in the same boat as you. To be fair,
I think if it's like that, it's complicated because you don't know. Plus, you have to find other people to finish up some things, loot up some stuff before you do all these things. But for the players who did max out the characters and have are ready to do this, it's fun, and we can never complain about more content, right? So, and that Baby Yoda's very cute is what I'm thinking in the video.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. It adds a lot of value to the video.
Yeah, my true take right now is, Runiverse is I don't know. I think they have a very niche community of players that are actively playing the game still. But it's is it enough? You know what I mean? Is what they've delivered as a product right now enough to kind of capture more people in? And what I'm saying is that from data and from the reaction of that, I haven't really seen that. That's personally for me. I haven't personally seen this demand that I may have first expected from Runiverse. Because for me, the first playtest that happened with Runiverse was fantastic, and it really felt good. And I feel like the same concerns from that first playtest are still present in the live test right now, and that's just the scalability element to the game. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
What makes you if you're going to play an MMO, and again, I'm not a terrific example of an MMO, ideal. I'm not the target market, right? Really and truly, because MMO games are not really my absolute genre of games that I would love to be playing. But for an MMO, things that I take away from it is if I'm playing an MMO, there's a reason that I keep wanting to go back. And for me, a lot of those reasons are largely social reasons, but then also character development. Now, Forgotten Runiverse has NFTs that literally have on-chain scribing, right? So you can develop a character and inscribe that on the blockchain so that exists. Is that somewhat more of a realer character that you are developing and playing in the MMO? Yes, was my approach. And I was thinking, this is really cool. Where does this go? But the game itself, playing the game, I don't get that feel. I think there's a lot of elements that they miss to personability customization, and like a real sense of like ownership within that MMO experience. So other than doing the quests and being like, oh yeah, I've done that quest and people around me probably haven't, is like my only sense of competition or whatever. And then once that runs out, because we ran out of all the quests, like what do you then do? You know, like for me, replayability was always a concern from the first playtest. Not that I didn't enjoy playing, because I did, and that we're still in that phase, in my opinion, today. So the dungeons should be a good answer because it does give replayability, is what I'm trying to get to. So let me know what you guys think.
What's new about these dungeons? You know, because I think you could do dungeons before that, right? So what's yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. That is to the lack of like not deep diving. There is, you know, deep dive into it. If you guys are in the comments and you know more than us right now about these dungeons, let us know what you think about them if you are going to be playing them, and we can tackle on that. But I just wanted to bring it to light. It's one of the big events that has happened over the last week, and of course, I would like people to go and try it out, try the dungeon run event out, and myself, I'm going to go try it out to see, you know, if there are improvements there, and you know, test that. So. But in total, aside from that, I'm seeing some comments as well about Rugmon. We'll talk about the Rugmon. Jesus, I hope, you know, some people I know out here spent super bread. I don't even know what that means, but they spent so much fucking money because of that IP. And it's so strange to see it like fracture away from the Landverse, right? Because obviously it's not the same studio making the game. So, you know, even if Ragmon fails or doesn't continue, Ragnarok Landverse is still its own, you know, own thing, and it's kind of a shame to have invested in the IP, and maybe the IP on one side is being successful, but the IP on that specific element is not. So, you know, if you know somebody who has been affected seriously by the Rugmon of the last few weeks, please call this number on the bottom of the screen. You know, it's like one of those.
Better call Stark.
Yeah. We go back to that. Better call Stark today. But no, daily active addresses, right? I don't like. This is the metric we're going to go with because it's the one that we, you know, really can access. A lot of these metrics are difficult to access and sensitive information and whatnot. But hello, this is crypto. Welcome to the transparency demand. That's what we demand. We want to see it. But daily active addresses as of right now for Ronin itself is 280,000, just shy of 300,000 daily active addresses, signing contracts or doing transactions on a day-to-day basis right now. We've gone from being the second most, and even at a time, I think the first most used blockchain, to ranking now at ninth, you know, at present day. In terms of gaming chains, apparently we're ranked 7th with a 5.84% daily active addresses market share. That surprises me because I don't even know 6 other gaming blockchains. So what the fuck are we talking about here?
Well, apparently cross protocol is a big one.
No, yeah. I'm very cross with that, bro. That make no fucking sense. Either way, these are the kind of positions that we are in right now. Currently, 250 million RON is staked. We had a release the other day. We spoke about that on the last show. Some RON was released from the release schedule, and some of that's going to go into community. Some of that's going to go into hopefully the hands of the community. But how, we don't know. We could go down that avenue later on in the show if you would like to. Did you notice anything? Because when I look at the charts, Theban, when I look at like these last few days, the release happened. Like I haven't really seen anything significant. Normally expect like some kind of influence, but I don't know. Have you noticed anything, or what's your takes on like the release? Does it matter? Are you approaching it a certain way?
I mean, it's nothing. Like we talked about this last time, right? Probably like half of that is gonna be like sell pressure, but then again, like it's hard to say when ETH is going up a little bit and RON is like not going up as much, right? It could just be like slowly being sold off. But again, like there's gonna come a point where the sellers will be exhausted, right? It's gonna happen. These validators are also another huge sell pressure because they accumulate a lot of RON and they sell off to like continue to fund themselves, right? So it's just a matter of time, honestly. Like when things around and people are like, oh, hey, where can I get the biggest 2x, 3x, 4x? And some guy comes in and drops like a few $1 million because he's like, oh, I'm going to get 2x on this. I'm going to be the first one there. The chart starts spiking and then people are like, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, all-time highs, $4. Oh, let me go buy some. All right, guys, let's all start posting about Ronin on Twitter again, and then suddenly all of a sudden you're at $3, $4, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're at $3! Oh my God, we're going to $60!" And then the first guy who got in for $1 million at 50 cents is like, "Oh well, I think this is a good time to take profit." And then
The whole thing just
right?
yeah.
And then everybody else is like, "Oh wait, someone's taking profits here. That was a whale. Let me go take prime profits," and then we're back down to 50 cents again. Bro, it's all just a game at the end of the day, man. Like, who fucking cares where the price is at, right? Like, it's either you believe or you don't. Like, you just sit in it and you wait, and then when time comes where you feel like, okay, I need to take some money off the table here, just do it, right? Don't believe anyone who tells you it's going to 50, 60, 100, 200, 300. It might not as well, right? No one ever knows, right? Same
When you
thing
first saw AXS, did you ever think it would go to the prices it did?
100. I mean, when I first saw AXS, that was my first time like in crypto. I had no idea what to expect, right? Actually, when I saw it go to $140, I was like, oh, maybe this is the norm. Maybe that's how this. Actually, I had a very good friend, I won't say who, was telling me it's going to $500.
Oh my!
I believed him. I'm like, oh, cool, that's really nice, right? And,
I would love to see the math working out on that. You know, it says, please show your working out. We need that.
What's funny is, like, if it wasn't for the Ronin hack, I think AXS would have bled slower. And two, I think a lot of people would have got hurt because they probably would have top blasted or bought dips and thinking like it was going to do well. I'm pretty sure a lot of normal people got saved by the hack because they started offloading the AXS during that time period, and we can see where AXS is right now, right? I don't know, like, what would have happened if it would have been in the same scenario or not, or maybe would have been better off. The thing is, like, remember, Ronin had like a huge monopoly on gaming, right? And I think that's part of the reason why they wanted to stay close for as long as they can, because they had that monopoly. That hack really hurt Ronin a lot. Like, it really changed everything. Everyone wanted to be a part of Ronin. Everyone wanted to, like, do what Ronin was doing. They had all the mind share. They had everything going for them. If not for that hack, I think we would be in a completely different situation. We maybe would have seen Ron at, like, $50. Maybe, right?
This is insane.
It could have been possible. But yeah, anyway, like, there's opportunities where everybody's fearful as well, right? I'll forget that. So just be patient. It is what it is.
And it's also it's I was thinking, like, you just see how important, as always, like, price action is on the gaming sentiment, right? Obviously price action is the most important, I think, thing on sentiment, but here even in gaming, like, when because it's supposed to be set aside, it's supposed to be like this extra utility unlocked when you're gaming with your assets and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if people are, like, getting burnt out by the not necessarily burnt out, but just tired about waiting, even if you believe, and then you're just like, it's okay to also have a few days, a few weeks of lull. And yeah, I guess we're just waiting for like the Axie season to start or the next fun game to come out, just so that we can distract ourselves again.
Please, no.
I don't listen. I'm tired of all these, like, fucking fun games bullshit, okay? I don't care for another fun game. When you guys say fun game, you're just asking for a game that hasn't TGE'd yet. So you can go farm the coin and you can go dump it on the market when it comes up, right? I don't care. What I'm really looking for as an actual enthusiast of Web3 and an actual believer of this shit that we're in right now is, like, I want a game where the coin's already out, has already been sold off, and makes a comeback. That's the coin I'm most interested in. I don't care about anything else. The only coin that has ever done that so far is AXS, right? Because AXS came out on Binance chain or whatever, on Binance, I think came out at like 10 cents or 20 cents, whatever it was, right? It was out on the market for a really long time. People discovered it down the road, and this shit flew to like $160 at the all-time highs, right? And had all of its, like, moments of, like, going up and down and whatever. I want to know what the next one is. I want to know what game is able to make a comeback from that. I don't want to know what game is like, yeah, bro, we're shilling a P2A, which ends up just being a fucking bunch of bots coming in, farming your token, dumping it on market, and never being able to make a comeback after that. Right? Because
who's on the hit list? Do you have a hit list for that?
The watch list.
So I guess a watch list, but like hit list. Yeah, watch list is a better word.
I genuinely don't know. Like, for example, I'll use Cambria as an example, right? I think Cambria is really hot right now. I think Cambria will like I'm gonna be real talk with you, right? Like Cambria did amazing numbers. I love it, right? But remember, people believe that Cambria is positive EV as it is right now. Why? Because it doesn't matter what you put into the game, you have this upside potential of their token launch that's gonna come, right? Now,
Well, they
what
deal in
happens?
USDC right now, right? Like, they're basically dealing in stables.
Yo,
So
no, there's that, but you also it's a play to airdrop event.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
What?
That's the most
Yeah.
important thing. This
Yeah.
is what people are forgetting: the play to airdrop event.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why people.
That's
That's why the players playing that lose are still okay with it because they're qualifying for an airdrop. That's what
exactly.
Keegan's saying.
So a lot of people are gonna lose, and a few people will win, which I think how games should function. Now, all those people who are there for the P2A, are they gonna be there once the P2A finishes, which is when everything TGEs, right?
Yep.
Who's gonna be the one caught bag at the end of it all, right? Is the game good enough where beginners and intermediate players are happy to put money into the game, right? These are the kind of questions you gotta ask. Now, as it is, as someone who's actually played the game, tried the game, I feel like they have a long way to go before early gamers, right?
Yeah, actually
Beginner
wanna
players
play
and
it.
intermediate players are gonna want to continue playing the game. I think it's an amazing game for hardcore gamers, right? I think there's a big gap between like where you start off and the hardcore that they gotta fill, right? And they gotta solve that issue, right? And if Cambria, right, launches and the TG and it like goes up a few X's, then it dumps a bunch, right? And then they can make a comeback and they go parabolic after that, then I'll believe in them, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about games right now. I want to see these games who have been completely dumped by all the TG during TG and all the P2A guys and all these bots and whatever, and then go parabolic. That's the game I'm gonna believe in to change the future of Web3 gaming.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like you know, the turnout is basically for the carrot, right? And if like a P2A is the carrot, and then you remove the carrot and then nothing, like what are you actually what are you actually creating? So I mean, for me personally, I've been taking a look at the traditional gaming industry, you know, diving deeper into metric basis, like what does the industry actually look like, and then really trying to get back into the understanding of like why are people playing video games, you know, like answering those questions along different genres, because you know, I think, you know, with the types of carrots that we have, it allows a lot of the industry to overlook those things. So, you know, some metrics I was looking at, right? Approximately in 2025, there are 3.5 billion people playing video games. How you can pull that metric accurately, again, is fucking beyond me. I don't think it is accurate anyway. But all of the sources that were put together to deliver this, right, are saying that there is 3.5 billion. About 1.5 billion of those 3.5 are in Asia and Pacific regions, right? 750 million in Europe.
Don't forget,
like
that number probably accounts for anyone who's ever opened a gaming app on their phone, right?
Yeah.
Games come with gaming apps.
Mhm.
Like literally, they're already pre-downloaded on your phone. I'm talking about like solitaire and all this other shit too.
Okay.
Right? If you opened it one time, your phone already reads that as a statistic.
Yep.
Right? Now, the real question is how many of those people actually went out of their way to download an app and play a very specific game.
Yeah.
Right? That's probably more so of like the number that you're actually looking for, right?
Yeah.
Now, we can always use numbers all we want. We are in an industry where it's all about attention game. You talk about blockchains earlier, right? Like all these gaming blockchains or whatever. And bro, a lot of them is fluff. Let's be real, right? They all spoof their numbers because they need to garner the attention. They don't have a choice, right? It's a survival tactic, right? To spoof the attention of those numbers.
Yeah. No, they definitely need it. The gist of this anyway was I went and asked AI and basically said like, okay, like give me, like summarize the actual gaming industry right now, like uncover its participation, help identify the industry, and then collect that information and kind of quantify it in terms of, and then to add in like spending habits as well. And like, what does this industry actually look like? And, you know, what can you gather from that? So it went about and collected all these numbers. It sourced all of the data. But it was kind of saying, you know, in 2024, there was a lot of revenue again, the industry leader for all these numbers exists in Asia, Asia and Pacific regions, right? So a part of that is like, Ron definitely dedicated its approach towards those regions. Is this the smartest thing to do? Of course, when you look at these metrics, you notice that they could be, it could be the right thing to do. To the long, like getting to the end of this, but like the spending habits, we're looking at $282 billion in 2024 in global revenue, and basically coming down to the question of, okay, like how do you accomplish, or how would you capture people in these industries? If this much revenue is being spent out, like what are they spending it on, why are they spending it, and how would you capture those people? And I basically asked it to give strategic recommendations, right, on how you would capture those audiences. And its approach was mobile gaming was one of its approaches. I mean, a lot of this I don't like genuinely agree with, but the data kind of churns this out. And the reason I'm doing this is to ask the question on like how are we approaching this industry, and getting the minds of people who are building these applications. What are they thinking of? What is their strategy? But mobile gaming was something that they said to be focusing around, cross-platform compatibility with that as well. They said one of the strongest things for gamers to continue to come to games is the user-generated content platforms. So supporting that, and I think that's a heavy Roblox metric because of the style of how Roblox exists, and you can create your own games, etc. And then revenues is actually subscription-based models, is what they identified as, like recurring payments, like battle passes, I guess, with these subscription style models is one of the biggest influxes of capital or towards revenue in the gaming industry right now. And also that 97% of all dollar spend in gaming right now is digital. The transition is totally from physical product to digital product. So we're kind of already on that path. Where does crypto align with this, and why, if there is this much going on right now, in terms of year-on-year revenue, in terms of those numbers of participants, like why are we not seeing that reflect in something that just it advertises it's gaming, right? Why are we not actually seeing portions of those numbers come into a gaming aspect of crypto? It's
price action, perhaps. Price action might just be the simple answer as to why all these things aren't tying together just as we're imagining. That might not be the only answer, but that might be a big thing. If you're
got some cool chats though. I mean, if you look at the chat, right? Shout out to Robocop. The current P to E model doesn't really work from a game's perspective. After the hype dies, all the players leave and it becomes unsustainable. I kind of understand why Ragmon wants to branch out. You're probably the only one in Ragmon corner right now because a lot of people are down bad for me.
It's called a hot take.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's a good one. But what actually happened with Ragmon? I saw the announcements and stuff, and like I know, like we had a G-Host on Smoke on the timeline saying that it's just a mediocre clash.
Okay. Let me put this into perspective for a bit about these fucking like economy shit, right? Okay, the economy, right, is already solved in a lot of ways. Okay, we've been working on economy for fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
What is the most degen game that you can play, right? It's stocks, right? Stocks, trading, right? These are like literally the highest level of degeneracy, gambling or gaming or whatever, right? Web3 is no different, right? Think about stocks. How many people actually make money, right? The top 2% maybe make like enough money to sustain themselves, right? The top 0.1% make stupid amount of money compared to what the top 2% make, right? Mostly everybody else beyond that
loses.
They lose, right? Okay, look at poker, another game that's been around for super long, right? Top 20%, usually top 10 to 20% are like break even. Okay, only the top 10% make any money when they play poker. Okay, everybody else, they lose. Okay, why or how the fuck are we trying to solve something that's already been out for so long, right? Where they had millions and billions of dollars run through everything, right? And come to the conclusion that you actually only 1 to 10% max are capable of actually making money. Everybody else actually has to lose, right?
Yeah.
Web3 is no different. In Web3, what ended up happening now with games is everybody is so focused on going wide, right? Going
The math
wide.
doesn't math.
The math is not fucking mathing, bro. Right?
Mhm.
So you're feeding 40% to 50% win rate, right? Like you only need to be in the top 50% to break even or blah blah blah. That you are literally draining your own resources and you're going to zero on your own because those people don't spend enough money and they don't feed towards the top side that you have people wanting to come into your industry and wanting to come into your games and whatever else that you're trying to do. This is where Web3 gaming truly is going wrong, right?
Yeah.
To me,
Is
Web3
it?
gaming,
Carry on.
go ahead.
Sorry, I'll come
I was
after.
gonna
I
say,
was gonna say, is it the fact that we are just like it's? Sorry, I'm fucking yeah.
Yeah.
Was it so overly ambitious? Was it mistaken? Was it a mistake? Was it like optimism to kind of have this narrative that like we can have more winners percentage?
It's naive. That's
Yeah.
it.
Naive.
Naive.
It's
That's the word.
naive, right? And low-key retarded.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, actually, like I'm tired of
Yes.
it because I saw this whole industry bleed itself away over the last year and a half because they believed in this, right? This is not like you really want to make people come to your industry, make them FOMO. Don't try to go wide, right? This is how the stock market made people come in. They made people so stupid rich, the 1%er or the 0.1% are so stupid rich that everybody else believed that they could do it and came in and burned themselves.
They actually
Right?
do their own math on that 1%, right? Like they say, if I can get a percentage of like what the 1% got, that's okay for me. So like they even accept losses on the way because they're like, oh, but I only need a percent of like the
Yes.
victory, you know.
Poker is the same way. Poker, they show you all the highlights. They don't show you all the people who lost along the way, right? And poker has the most amount of recreational players after like stocks or whatever, right? Stocks have a bunch of recreational players. Well, the way that we get recreational players is we need to make winners, right? But the more wide you go, the less winners you're actually making,
Yeah.
right? The more wide you go, the more you feed the bots, and the bots only market dump.
And
They
the
don't
bots
Actually
don't,
care.
so true.
and the bots don't recruit friends. The bots don't bring anything. The bots just extract.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that only occurs when the more wide you go, right? The more it's funneled towards the top, the less the bots actually win. Okay, our true battle is against bots, truth be told, and then we need to make genuine winners who want to go out and showcase how much you're winning. They're winning so fucking much that everybody else around them wants to come in.
Yeah.
It's actually the pathway, bro. Yo, we need to speed dial right now, bro. We need a conversation with all Ronin projects. Yo, come and we actually do need to have this conversation.
Listen. Most of these guys have already bled out so much that there's nothing to speed dial.
Yeah.
Okay, they've already bled out so much they're dead. That's why they're going to Web 2 because they're thinking that this is their last resource for some like in-game purchases to make some kind of a comeback and save their game. But to be honest, their game is so fucking garbage that even Web 2 doesn't want to play. Right? So they've already lost their opportunity.
Yep.
Right? They've lost their opportunity. It's not about even Ronin games, it's about all games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's games like Shrapnel, for example, right? Everyone was boosting them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they had no working economy. They died. I've been trying to say this for fucking months. You have to have a working economy, and you have to have a working economy that whales want to participate in. They want to feel like, okay, if I get in this game, I'm gonna make this and this amount of money, and it's gonna be worth it for me, right? They don't care if the odds of them making money is 10%. If they think that they can 3x or 4x, they're gonna jump in, because again, this is a world of degeneracy.
So let's talk about, for example, Axie Origins. And so that's where my head goes naturally because it's the only game that I can think of that has a clear working economy in my mind out of the things that I know. And it's like maybe reduce the amount of players who earn anything by, well, I was thinking like even by 10x, just cut it
Well, with
all,
the bounty, yeah,
cut it all,
with the-
put it
yeah.
cut it all, put it at the top for one season. Especially now we're at a phase where we're done changing too many things, so we can try that. Why don't we? I mean, it could be interesting to push
Yeah.
as a community for. Can we try one season where same rewards, but only to like the top 25% of whatever was actually being done? So like if it's whatever it was 40K, do 10K instead, and just make it top heavy for one season and see what drives it. Because I think right now, especially with Metamorph, all of that, most people, if they need to get into top 100 reliably to break even on the Metamorph stuff like that, that's not something that makes you want to fucking put hours, tweet, get
but you're gonna make all those people who don't buy Axes, who don't buy runes, who don't buy charms,
So
who
mad.
get their free stuff, so mad, bro.
Oh
You're gonna
no.
make them so
Okay,
fucking
sorry.
mad.
Pack
And they're gonna be like,
up the
"Oh my
shop, end
God,
the show.
guys, don't take my 50 cents away from me, you
No.
bastard!" Right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the thing is, okay. The way that Origins is right now is like the best thing to do is don't buy anything, don't do anything, right? Just use the same team from your previous 5 seasons, right? And play, right? And this is the thing that like all the little guys have been asking forever, right? Because they don't want to spend. They want to make sure that they always win all the time, right? But bro, that's not how life works, right? You have to fucking lose.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no,
somebody has to lose.
You're absolutely right, though. I think it would be very exciting to be as like scrappy in that way. Like Axie's always been great at being scrappy and doing good things from it and iterating fast. We haven't for a while. It's been very stable, which is a good thing economically. We need to be able to show and prove that that's possible. But yeah, I think even right now, like I spend a decent amount every single season, right? It doesn't matter. Like I'll always be spending a decent amount, but for the bounty board alone, I'll probably recoup the season, right? Spend like how much I spent, probably get recouped just from the time period of how long the season is doing the bounty board alongside that, right? So for me, if I don't finish really high in a leaderboard, like there's still some kind of generation. I think the bounty board's in a really interesting position because what if you do what we were talking about here and you cut the wide aspects of the reward systems from competition and you go all in on like the top 25 to top 50 people in this game? What does that do for the culture? Because I'm going to be chatting about Axie Origins because who's the top 50 players in Axie, bro? This is the OG fucking project. This is the one of the most for me, I like Origins, all right? A lot of people don't, a lot of people do, but I really do enjoy it. I'll be back and it would be exciting again to see the types of names coming up, the stories, the narratives you can get behind, right? The passion that will come from players who are revisiting it. I think it would be really interesting to see that happen. You spoke of it, Theban. We go into this conversation now, but like you want like a shorter season or a removal of eras and just have an intense kind of competition.
I'll tell you what I want. I'll clarify because people are confused, right? They're like,
Yeah.
what do you want? What do you mean? You just want people to play 5 days? Listen, you can come and play the last 5 days in the current system anyway. You can do that anyway, right? My problem is the prizes are split up so much that it's so fucking tedious to come and play the game.
Yeah.
Right? It's so tedious. First, the price have shrunk so much, right? Which is okay. That's market conditions, demand, people selling, blah, blah, blah. I understand it, right? But this happened and they split stuff up when prices were a lot higher, right? Prices haven't changed. Now the prices are lower. It's like it's so tedious to come and play every single era for like pennies, to be honest, for most people.
Yeah.
Right? And it's come to the point where people of any character, people who have any influence or have any weight don't even play the games. They don't even want to participate, right? I miss the days of fighting against Meat Value, Zaliasser, ADRD, Elazul, Lynx,
Spam and Rice.
Spam and Rice.
Spam and Rice, bro. Yeah.
Bro, you know when Spam and Rice is gone, shit's cooked.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's really fucking cooked, right? Like I love fighting against these guys. I loved arguing with them on Twitter. I loved fucking going back and forth, the banters,
I
all
missed
this
this shit.
Bro, we had drama every week, right?
Yeah.
Now, when there's no drama, you shouldn't be happy about that. It means nobody gives a fuck.
Mm-hmm. We
Right?
need passion
When
back
there's
in this
drama,
space real
it means
quick.
people actually cared, right? Now, what I'm saying is the era system, it was driven at a point where people believe that, oh, it should be like this and like that and blah blah blah. There was a reason why the final day, the final week, whatever, was super hyped and people played a lot and spent a lot. There were times where who was that guy? Mega. Do you remember the guy named Mega?
Yeah.
Right? He came and this guy bought Axis for 3 Ethereum.
Yeah.
Because on the last 2 days of a season or an era or whatever it was back then, right? Because he felt like he, with his belief in his mind that he can climb to the top to do it, right? That's why he did it, right? I
Was that
remember
the
there was a
mech?
time he bought an AOE comp, right?
Oh,
There
okay.
was a time when what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Chuck came in and bought like Endless Anger for what, 2 Ethereum or something, right? Dude, you would be surprised to see Endless Anger be bought for like $5 now.
$5, yeah.
Right?
And the mint cost of them. Oh my god.
Whatever, right? You get what I mean? Like the point is like we went for this tactic of going wide, right? But you lost something from it. What did you lose? You lost all the guilds, right? Where's Meditate? Where's Sura? YGG just let go of all of their professional players, right? All of them, right? You lost these guilds who were also like some form of marketing in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
You lost all of the players who had any kind of character, right? You essentially got rocks playing now your game, which
Well,
is
they may
fine.
as well be
You
bots,
can
innit?
just say like you can just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. We still have gamers playing. It's okay, right? Then what's the point of tournaments, right? For me, tournaments were a way to showcase individuals, who they are, their characters, do interviews, like, and all that stuff, right?
Did you watch?
So
Did you watch the most recent for
no,
Origins?
I haven't watched Origins in like since the time that I stopped playing.
So a litmus paper for me is looking at those events, and this is no disrespect to any of the organizers, any of the people that are involved in these events or whatever, but that may have been the most boring event I've experienced for a long time in Axie specifically. There was like no passion, there was no narrative, there was no conversation, there was incisive. And you know, and these that gets semantical, but like what you're saying is very important, because I think if those things, if that much part of the machine is not firing off, it's not actually nurturing and curating another part of the machine that is going to be important for progression and for going beyond that. So like accumulating all the things we're talking about today, though, I am very firmly set now on the understanding that going wide actually dilutes this shit so badly. It's not good.
No. Going wide only masks the bots.
Yeah.
Literally.
They're the real winners. They're the ones that, if at least if they could be posting screenshots, like the guy who has a bot farm, if he could post a screenshot of how much AXS he was winning, at least that would be beneficial for the game, because then more people would be botting.
More people would bot.
Right.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh wow, I'm gonna go ahead.
But if he did that, then it would be that. You
But
know,
they
like
won't, because they will lose the edge.
exactly.
They will lose the
But
edge.
at least
right?
if they did that, there would be sense in the going wide strategy. But they're not. You want singular players to be like, I spent 5,000 and I made 10 or something, you know, and posting shit like that.
Yeah, like this is what pisses me off the most. It's like people don't understand that. They think that we're trying to cut off the people at the bottom. No, we're trying to survive. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, if they don't spend, like, there's got to be a give and take, bro. There has to be a give and take. Like,
yeah,
like,
listen. Don't get me wrong, right? Origins, for the first time, or I don't know if it was this season or the previous season. I think it was the previous season, right? When they introduced the morphing, that they actually had positive revenue, right?
Yeah, this is true,
right? Which is fair, right? But we have to ask ourselves, what did you lose in exchange for it, right? Did you lose a certain level of marketing? Did you lose the players, right? Like, what did you gain players, right? Like you have to ask that self too.
Also, there was a first wave of morphing, and I know, for example, I've morphed a lot of collectibles into jigs, into playable axes. Now the strategy is change them as little as possible. No more morphs. So I think you're going to see it's clearly there's going to be a massive it's a fall off. It's going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same
because
thing.
they're also not trying to balance the game too much. They want to have this expectation like, oh, this is how your NFTs and stuff are going to be. Right, for the future and so on. So there's a lot of other problems that come with that, obviously. I mean, at the end of the day, what I want is I want an entertaining industry, right? I want an industry where like we have people with character playing. We have people who want to FOMO in, who want to come in and be like, yo, these guys are actually building something insane over here, right? I don't want to forsake the people who are already here in exchange for the ones who aren't here, right? I want to lift up the people who are here and let them build with you, let them be your warriors, so that the other future people are like, yo, if that's how they treat those guys, let me get in.
I want to get in there. To be honest, and I haven't spoken on this, I don't think publicly, like much, but the fucking enthusiasm I had when I discovered Axie, because of the competition level, like, and what I thought was like, holy shit, there are thousands of people trying to be these guys playing in this tournament right now, and they're actually winning a couple $1,000s or whatever. That's fucking sick. And I was so passionate about that like I FOMO'd harder than anything I've ever seen. Like it was like I became obsessive to get involved, right? And that was my inception point with Axie. And like, I don't see more of me, coming into this industry with that sense of passion, and that's tough. That's actually tough. I think we really need to address that, actually.
Like all these games, NFT mints, and all these things. To be fair, right? Those are also games, right? When you farm tokens, when you buy tokens and sell them, that's also a game. Trading, like I said, trading is a game, right? When you lose money, that's a skill issue.
Yeah.
Right? And like, let's say hypothetically, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever. That's a skill issue, to be honest, right? Because I didn't read the situation properly. Everyone is having skill issues, right? Now, what I mean is, it's much more clear. We will stop betting on those useless things if we do have like a clear-cut competition. People are talking. Someone said in the chat, but people have to feel they can win. If people only feel they lose, then you also don't get players playing. This is true. But when people see that there are people winning 100x, 1000x more money than your monthly salary, every single month or every other month, they're not gonna give a shit that they're losing money. They're gonna keep on trying, right? And people will cycle in and out. New people will come in, old people will go away. But as for every 2 new people you have coming in, one person will get out and the other person will stay and try some more. That's literally how the fucking stock market.
And they'll probably have this like mold. I hate that this is what came to mind. The mold effects, when you put a moldy fruit here and a fruit here and then a fruit here, and they all get moldy. I'm not saying this is moldy, but they'll come in with the same approach. They'll be willing to spend. They'll be like, okay, this is the game. I want to be here, so I am going to do this. That cost me this. Okay, I have that. I'm going to go do that, right? So the people that will be coming in will be more attuned to accepting like the battlefield, the plane in which they're going to exist on, and participate in it in the way that we want. But I think passion needs to come back fucking fast.
Look what Trevor said as well. He agrees with you. He said,
I can totally relate.
Combination. Guess why you stopped? You stopped because the rewards were not worth your time. That's why you stopped. The game didn't change. The game is still good. The game is exactly the same thing it is. But the rewards was no longer worth your time. So you moved on to something else that was worth your time. Because
I have a rebuttal as well. Like it's more than just that.
I will say something. Time is your most important resource in this world. Right? Once you lost your time, you can't get it back. Money, you can lose all of your money, but you can make it back someday.
And you can go to McDonald's.
Yeah, you can go to McDonald's, exactly. But time, you can never get it back. And that's the problem that we are facing with a lot of these games right now.
I think also though, talking of time, the moment, right? The moment of when you get involved with something. I think Origins had its moment, which gave me another like an influx of passion again because it was new. It was like, oh, this is a new game, so there was like broader opportunity because there was less information, and like with time. It's as if, you know, now, especially with an Origins, right? There is all the information is known, right? It's all out there. So there isn't the chance of you uncovering something so much, right? Like there really isn't a wide chance of you being able to uncover that. And a lot of people were passionate about being the person to uncover that, right? And being able to test that. But once you get to a point where, okay, everything is kind of tested, we know what this meta looks like, and there's only a few things that could change and be viable. It kind of slows down that evolution. And again, you lose passion based on that. So there's not only is it just the fact that the outcome of the money is not there, but also there's different factors that move simultaneously with just time that can affect people's response. But genuinely, I mean, a lot of people in the chat are saying it now, like, you know, really do miss that passion. And again, a market climate kind of supports passion as well, because, you know, when things are going well, you want to scream and shout about it. And even if you aren't winning in the 1%, the 2%, 5% of the game, you know, we might be winning on a market factor.
But when things are going up, everyone's winning, and that'll happen. Like here, we've hit a fantastic point, because it's actually in these moments that you have to. There's no more fluff. There's no more fog. You see things for what they are, and this is how they need to be. And then when the market goes back up, I was about to say if the market goes back up, when at some point, hopefully. But
right.
Everything else will that won't be the problem then. Right now, it's solving fundamental issues of how do you stand out. And I think, here it seems pretty clear. The question is, because even all the other things we talked about after will solve themselves on their own. So, for example, we manage to convince the team of like Sky Mavis, or if it's Jaster, I don't know who's but for example, for one test season to like do something drastic with the rewards, let's say, then everything else I think kind of lines up. Even for example, the casting, if you thought the casting of the final 8 was boring, or the show was boring, then if everyone's more involved, there'll be other people, other things, you know, like volunteering. It just solves itself.
I wouldn't do it one season, like say like, oh, next season we're gonna do it. No. I would give like a buffer season first. Give one season room. Be like, okay, not this season, guys, but the season after this one, we're gonna do this crazy shit.
Okay.
And then let it cook, let it simmer. Let people speculate, let people think about what they want to do, how they want to do it, whatever, and let it cook and then go. Right? If you don't give a buffer season, you're losing all marketing potential. You're losing all the opportunity for people to come back and look at your game and be like, okay, am I interested? Then commit a certain amount, right? Doesn't matter the price, and just be like, okay, we're gonna commit this to it, no matter what, and just go. Right?
Yeah, that actually would be. It'd be interesting to see, you know, the whole season, the buffer season kind of build up towards it. What does the marketplace then look like? You know, the prices of Axes change. I think obviously they do. And the build up could actually be a huge marketing event in itself. And
honestly,
then
one day I would love to be like a project manager of something. Really,
yeah. You just say, yo, give it me for 3 months and I'll show you what the fuck I can do, right?
Well, no, maybe not 3 months, but if I had like 6 months to work on something, but it takes time to also learn all the ins and outs and everything, and work in and how everybody works and how they do shit, blah, 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 whatever, right? But if I had a few months, like, I'm sure I could create you a product that people will literally fucking salivate over over time. You know what I mean?
Me.
Like, it's like, that's the thing. Like, we have to be real, guys. There needs to be losers in this fucking world to win. Yeah. Like, I'm a loser too. I was outperformed by the fucking guy working at McDonald's for the last 3 years. All right? I'm a loser. Let's be real. Right? Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie to you guys. So, like, what do you don't think that, oh, I'm just being greedy, or like I want everything to myself. Guys, I'm just like you all. Okay, if I'm a loser, probably all of you guys are losers with me as well.
Yeah, just
one of us. One of us.
We're all in this together. So why don't we do something where we can create something that could actually create winners and create something that we get the outside to come into.
Yes.
Let's
We
all
need
work
something needs to happen.
together on it, right? If we can make a few of us win, we can get other people to come in. Really, I'm not even joking you. That's literally how this shit's gonna work.
On that note, let's look at some numbers, right? Because where the fuck are we at? These are, shout out to Nathan, always putting out data and information out there for people on the Ronin network. But this is Axie Infinity. We're talking about it right now. 106 daily active addresses, and again, yes, bots, whatever bounty board is what's confirming this. I believe is what I would go under. But this is a lot, right? This is a lot in terms of like participation, but yes, whether it is just straight farming on buying boards, I'm not going to say, right? But it feels like over the last few months, like Axie really has kind of proven its stayability. And the conversation we just had, I actually agree so strongly on that. I think we should go back towards what Axie was really fucking good at. And for me, that was driving passion into this industry. So, but currently over 100,000 people daily active addresses, go in and get involved with bounty boards and playing the game day in, day out. But some other games, we're going to go slightly down and down and down. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to share this. I'm going to stop sharing this. Let's play a game. Right, Stark or Theban. We'll go Stark for the first one, and then we'll alternate Stark to Theban, Stark to Theban. This game has an amazing title. All right, the title of this game is called Guess the Daily Active Addresses. Right, so I'm going to tell you how many daily active addresses there are, and you're on mute, by the way, Stark, and you have to guess the project. All right. You have to guess the project. Stark, you're going first. I'm going to tell you daily active addresses right now. These are all Ronin projects. For example, we might have some shits and gigs here, but I'm going to tell you a number, and you're going to tell me the product. I don't have a soundboard. I know we need a soundboard, but I got some stuff here. I got stuff like. No, I haven't. No, I really haven't.
Straight to
I should. You know what? I should be adding some stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a number of daily active addresses. You're gonna give me the project that is that has that. All right.
I'm locked in.
We'll go first. Okay. First project of today. Daily active addresses on a day-to-day basis. This project has 498 daily active addresses. What project on Ronin do we think that is? I'll give you more information as well. In the last week, there has been 40 new wallets, 855 transactions, and the total wallet addresses, the total number of addresses that have interacted with this project is 449,000. What project are we talking about?
Is it Kydro?
Oh, I fucking told you these numbers before the show. There's no way you guess. It is though. It is.
No, I was just looking through my collection and I was like, which do I want? Like, which is the lowest, or which have I lost the most money on?
Yeah, Kydro Chronicles, bro. Like the conversation with Kydro, I think every time we reveal a project, we should do a little spiel on it a little bit. But like the thing about Kydro is like it came in so blue chip esque, like it really felt like we were gonna get some produce quick, and we. From my perspective, we just didn't. All right, like they 100% should have come in this as like a fucking anime first. Like, yeah, they came to the game in blockchain. It was probably a good deal. It is a great IP, and the story behind it all is like something that you should be told and people should be finding out across the world. But like, it's an anime, bro. Like, as soon as you get that anime out there, then people will give a shit to play the game aspects. But the game is just not. From all the tests that I've played, it's just not there.
Yeah, the thing is, it wasn't. You said it was brought in blue chip-esque. That's because it was given a lot of support by the team, and now there's like I think they've done like 2 or 3 tweets in the last 3 months or something. So it's like if they weren't the most backed project by Sky Mavis and they're like literally like the favorite little child. You would think that this is acting like a rug. So it's just like, what's up? What's next? I don't think this level of communication in silence is acceptable. Honestly, if I had more stuff invested in this, I would be pissed. It's almost
mean,
seems like it's a matter of time before we see a bad tweet, like the tweet we're not expecting. I don't know.
Oh no, not from this team. I can't see that happening, bro. Because like, look at this product. I know these are trailers, but come on, bro. Like this deserves to be an anime, and it needs to be pushed out there. And they need to be using crypto and Web3 and the Ronin network as a creative way to display what royalties and ownership can do. Right, that is Kydro's fucking mission for me.
I hear all that, but it comes back to they're silent on Twitter. They were active and all when there was stuff to buy and there was things to do, and I don't think it's acceptable. It's almost like a level of unforgivable if it keeps going like this. How long can it go before you're just like, okay, but like 6 months, 8 months, 12 months of silence? I don't know.
Okay,
It's like,
I'll tell you my question.
I don't know.
What I'm thinking about Kydro, right? I mean, I won't say too much because like I probably shouldn't. But what I'm wondering more so is like, how much runway do they have? That's what I'm most curious about right now.
Yeah.
I want to know what their runway, how much runway do they have? What's their burn rate for everything that they're doing, right? And how do they plan to bring revenue back to their game or their investors and so on and so on, right? Remember, a lot of people bought their NFTs, bought their tokens, right? The problem is there's no use case for any of those things that provide any kind of return on what you bought, right? And that's a concern. Now, I know the token can let them like be you can get like a producer role, right, on the anime and things like that. Some people might like that. Personally, I'm not interested, right? So this is the real question is like, you got gaming, you got a game coming out, whatever, and everything. Like, so I'm very much interested to know how the money is gonna flow, right?
Yeah.
And
they gotta start putting out revenue.
Yeah, whether I invest in Kydro or not, as an outsider, if there's like a massive dip opportunity, the question is like, I need some transparency about what's your runway looking like, right?
Yeah.
And is your ambitions and what you want to accomplish
realistic?
That? Is it suitable? Is it suitable? Is it like realistic? Exactly, right? Because, like I said, my worry right now is about projects. Is I think 95% plus of projects right now this year are gonna die. I think a lot of projects are gonna have a bull run, and a lot of them are not gonna see their bull run. They're gonna die. Sky Mavis okay because they've got their
years of runway.
They've been accumulating over the years, right? If it wasn't for that hack, they would be freaking. I don't even want to know where they would be. They're probably set for like 50 years or whatever it may be, right? But they're still good for many years to come. Now, you can't really say that for all the projects. And Sky Mavis can't bail out every single project.
Yeah.
Right? They're gonna bail out. They will. I'm pretty sure they will bail out certain projects where they feel like they got the loop going, they got the thing going, they got revenue going, they got like, okay,
something.
We can see this cooking, right? But there are a lot of projects who don't even have a proper ecosystem, and we just have to be real with that, right? And that's why I said, like, listen, you got people investing in your projects because they believed in your Web3 take and what you can do in Web3 and how you're gonna generate revenue, right? And then there are also studios where they sold you what you want to hear. Then they went out and did the complete opposite of what they told you because they went and did what they want, right? They went and did what they think will bring them glory, which is succeeding in the Web 2 market, right? And they went out and did what they think is their mode of survival because they need to pay themselves a paycheck, right? When they took your NFT money, most of these studios, they didn't give a fuck about what they're going to deliver to you. They just know that shit's going to pay their paycheck, right? Whether they succeed or they die don't matter because they're just kicking their can down the road until whether they succeed, they're going to take all in the glory. And if they fail, they'll be like, well, guys, we tried, right? The ones who are left holding the bags are the ones who invested to them, right? And this is like, I said this before, I tweeted this before too, right? Selling NFTs, selling tokens is like a GoFundMe, right? It just means that VCs didn't want to take a chance on. It just means that Web 2 investors didn't want to take a chance on.
Yeah.
Right? But now you got real people who worked hard for their fucking money taking a chance on you. Actually, you should take it more seriously and think
If
about
it's NFT,
how
yeah.
you get the returns back to those individuals. Not like, oh, I'm just
Or
gonna
just
get
communicate that they're
them
not.
to be happy.
Yeah. Or just communicate that they're not. You know, because there's no point selling a pipe dream if it's actually not achievable at the end of the day. Like some people might still
But
invest
then
in
no one would
NFT.
ever do that because yeah,
Nah, but I mean, I'm a fucking
no,
type of
because then
person
it
that
just shows
would invest.
a wrong attitude.
Yeah, but I would invest without a return on
I mean,
investment
let's
if I
be
believed
real.
in a project.
Let's-
Right?
Yeah, I'm not
There's
sure that's
people that will do that.
realistic,
I know, but there are people that
No.
will approach it in that manner because
but I'm not saying
that's what I'm
not
saying.
there's
The
no
ownership.
people-
The ownership presents that
Look.
possibility though. Like before, if it's an investment, like it's a straight money transaction, but ownership, asset class, and like something with Kydra, for example, if it was a asset that I own that did make it in the series and the series does go global, and then like 50 years from now, you can say, yeah, I own Pikachu. Like that's something different, right?
And then people would ask you, how much money did you make off owning Pikachu? And you said nothing, and I knew that in advance, and I'm still happy about
Nah,
it.
but the
So,
okay, no,
that's why
facts.
That's why I'm saying in that example.
Royalties need to be written out, bro. You tell me how much money I'm making from Pikachu, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Or just saying, yeah, I don't know. That's why it's not a realistic. But yeah, here, I don't know. I think that
Okay. I'll give you.
I know,
I'll give you. Sorry.
one sec, just because I want to thank you because it's like it's what you said after when I was talking about Kydra, etc. You kind of worded where my frustrations were coming from, and I think that's partly why I'm taking this. Now they're tweeting a bit more, but there was a solid 2.5 months where there was not a single tweet, and I think that's it's about like the not even trying to feign something with the community when you still like something is owed whether it's like a plan, transparency, and like how can you expect transparency from a project that doesn't even tweet for 2.5 months?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just it's my gut. My gut is making me very not that it's worried, but I don't know.
You have an uneasy feeling because you are an investor.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine ghosting your VC for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
You think they will ever do that? Of course not. Right? But why ghost your community? It's the same thing. If they buy your NFTs, they buy your token, treat them like your VCs.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't because they don't value you at the end of the day when they do that. That's reality. Right? I'm not talking about Kydra, I'm talking about all projects.
Yeah.
They don't value you. That's what you gotta see. There are projects where they don't even have NFTs, they don't even have a token, but they talk to their community all the fucking time. Right? I value those more than the ones who have already launched and don't say anything. Right?
Yeah.
Fuck. I was gonna say something.
Sorry.
Ragmon,
Yeah.
right? Ragmon, for example. And I'm gonna give them the fucking carrots for them because I don't like whatever. This is free advice. Okay. Ragmon wanted to go to this cross or whatever, right? They could have made everybody happy. The problem them going there is not that they are going to a different chain. No one gives a shit if you go to a different chain. I'm happy for you. Succeed elsewhere, right? Survive. But bring your supporters with you, right? Let them win with you. When they decided that your NFTs and whatever we've got in Ronin is just gonna stay there, and when we go to this different chain, we're gonna launch new shit over there. That's where you fucked up.
Yeah, that's big.
That's where you fucked up. Now, if you had some deal with them and you're like, oh, this is what we have to do, and this is the agreement. Okay, all right. So find a loophole. Find something to do it. Generate revenue in cross. Okay, say that revenue you generate in cross, right? A certain percentage of it will go back to tamer holders. Have some kind of revenue share.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Why not? Why not have some kind of revenue share? And now it's like all the people in Ronin are like, oh wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. Let me go out and buy some tamers. Let me hold my tamers. Let me feel like you are actually valuing me. Not like, oh, you dumped this bunch of NFTs on us and we bought at the Pico top and continue to support you, continue to go for battle for you on social medias and everything, and then you left me out to dry. That's why everybody's pissed.
Facts. No,
Right?
what they did. is it reversible? And like what you're saying is that's the reversibility of it, like having the community of people that supported you, the people that invested in your products from early, having a route for them to not be kind of abandoned. And that's what this seems like, right? It is basically they are being abandoned. So oh man, Genesis Tamers 5k run to 100 run real quick, man. That is probably the biggest value depletion. Yeah.
People speak with their money, in this industry. And you can see when it was at 5k, 2k run, whatever it was, 6k, that's how much they believed in what was being sold. Right? And this was when Ron was like over $2, I think.
Yeah, oh, it was a lot, but it was expensive to get involved in this. I was sidelined crazy, but I have a lot of Ragmon NFTs, right? I actually have a lot of
you
Ragmon
believed
NFTs.
in something, right? That's okay. And you believed in something, and that's what happens. And like, man, all this is a bunch of, I don't know, man. I wish if we have some kind of like a governance system, whatever, like I would love to be paid to like actually look through all these projects, look through all these ecosystems and be like, this works, this doesn't work, this is a bunch of garbage, right? And like veto this shit. Like I would love to do that. Like genuine. Like at this point, having been in this industry for so long and like seen everything, like I can tell you there might be one more game that's coming out that has any shot in like
I think I know what game you're on about. Yeah.
For like a positive ecosystem. Now the second game hasn't even come out, so I'm not entirely sure. Like I think the Axie MMO, for example, has a very good chance because they have time to like solve everything, fix everything, and whatever. But like most of these other games, no one has built a proper ecosystem yet. They haven't even been sent in the right direction.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we've had a great conversation today. To be honest, I'm going to curb my tongue at the moment as we sit there with the little one. But I think we've had a great conversation. These conversations are valuable. Like we need others, to participate in these types of conversations. It would be nice to see, you guys have got involved. The chat's been active most of the show, and these are important topics, bro. These are the hard conversations that we have to keep having. So, we've spoken with G-Host and Psych Out over the last 3 weeks, and today kind of just. Oh my gosh, he would pour on the mic at this point. Yo, but no, seriously, if there's one thing I'm taking away from today that is the most important, it's bring the passion back to this to this industry, bro. We definitely need to address that. The whole conversation about going broad is kind of, there is a large loss factor of that. As much as there are good elements of it, I do think the broad approach. Oh my god, is he gonna get 2 of them now? Is it gonna be second time?
He's getting overrun.
Let's see. Don't listen to daddy.
Hello.
Hey. Hi. Yay! Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, what a way to. I don't mind being interrupted in this, man. It's beautiful, but I think we need to bring the passion back to this industry. And the wide approach is clearly not working. If this is that in that point of time where you think, you know what, fuck, these guys are right, then make it be so, because this broad approach is just not it. There's mathematics, right? The way that this shit is going to work has always been set in stone. There has to be losers to be winners, but let's make winning something to be hugely, I don't want to say desperate, but a huge aspiration, and how that affects people in the long term and in the grand scheme should be something that people are inspired by. So make some winners.
Bring back the Ponzi.
Bring back the Ponzi. Bring the Ponzi back, bro.
Listen, I'll tell you this. If you have 100 people, 100 super passionate people in your top 100 who are fighting tooth and nail because there's so much like life-changing money or whatever it may be or whatever, and
you're gonna get the greatest stories.
Not only the greatest stories, you're gonna be getting so many people fighting on your timeline, so many people making noise, so many people like arguing about how this is not fair and that is not fair. Literally. Better marketing than having 10,000 people who do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And by 10,000 people, I mean like robots or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, wait.
You get
Just
what
before we close this out, though, are we giving rewards in Axie to the top 20,000 players?
Yes.
Is that real?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. I mean, it means that I get some, but like,
I mean, what I'm saying is like we had more people talking about Axie when we had like rewards for like the top 5,000 than we do at 20,000.
yeah, that's true.
So
Stand
think
on that.
about, does that make sense? Right? Because when it was like
Yeah.
top 5K or whatever it was, it's because, dude, you had the real enthusiastic individuals fighting for their life, literally, right? This is what we are in right now is the pacifist era. The pacifist era is a
And it's
bunch of
bullshit. It's
It's a bunch of
bullshit.
bullshit.
It's so bad. It's boring as hell. Please spice my day up. On that note, thank you guys for tuning into Ronin Radio. We'll be back on Thursday. Will I bring someone through? Will we have an actual, will we have a guest? I don't know. Who fucking cares? But we'll see you on Thursday. If you haven't already, go subscribe to the YouTube. We're at 307 now. So we're making some moves. But at 500, we're giving away generational wealth in the form of a Ronki NFT. So be part of that movement. Shout out to everyone that's been chatting. Pilgrim, noticed you new in the YouTube as well. So shout out to you, my friend. Spiffy Magoo comes right at the end, but I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you want, go back and listen to some of the conversations. We did some home truths, some tough takes, but I think all in all, pretty damn honest. The Broadway is not the same as it is in New York. It's not a great show. It fucking sucks. All right, so let's not do that. Had a hair on my tongue, but on that note, we need to change. Just do it. All right, love you. You got anything else to say?
No, bye.
Oh, and you stink if you say that you want rewards at 20,000 on a leaderboard. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? This is retarded. Anyway, bye.